I wish I had a Naira for Cornwall. It would have been a long time. The procurement process for Naira takes between 6 and 12 months per procurement transaction. That is why it's dragged out so long. I wish I had a Naira. We should have declared Cornwall a national emergency and subjected to quicker decision making. But that's another issue. That's another more substantial response for the reconstruction and resilience. And I'm saying, let us focus on what is important. But let me move on, Madam Speaker. Let me move on. So there are phases, and we are now in the reconstruction phase. So, Madam Speaker, what is the context that is important in the discussion around this bill? The first context, given that it is a crisis, is the efficiency, or indeed, for better understanding, the speed in which we work to truly restore persons and to make them more resilient against a Category 5 hurricane. And so the bill has to be structured in a way to recognize the importance of quick decision making. And I don't think we should make any apologies for it. I don't. In fact, if the members on that side are honest with themselves, they themselves have spoken about the inefficiencies of the current bureaucracy and the need for change. The very opposition leader has spent time talking about it. Is he now arguing that we should engage the very same process to deal with people who have emergencies? It cannot be, Madam Speaker. It cannot be. And indeed, Madam Speaker, history...
I rise on a point of order, Madam Speaker. The member is misleading the House. It has never been my position, or indeed anybody on this side's position, that we shouldn't have more efficiency, a quicker procedure, and faster resolution of the issues. We're all in favor of that. The fact is that the current bureaucracy and the way the government is interfacing with it has led to all sorts of problems, and which need to be addressed structurally. However, what we are complaining about is a lack of accountability, a lack of transparency, and a lack of oversight, and a lack of oversight, and a lack of oversight. So I'm not suggesting that we're going to move faster.
No, that's okay. It's okay. Opposition leader. Opposition leader. I've turned off all mics. Opposition leader, Prime Minister is making a point of order on your point of order.
Boy, more while me I say me would go back to Jamaica go live. But when me check the levels and me see how much money the people must have to survive, you have to use to survive at Jamaica monthly. Me can't go right on the money there. Would have go back to school. I would have got a UER or something, get a big degree or something. Me here one man I say him survive by what? Fee monthly budget at 300,000. One next one say fee him thing at 400,000. If you're not top notch in your trade, like if you have one big trade, or one big degree, or one big job, can't survive at Jamaica.
At the end of the day, the government really look nothing good for we, you know.
We have been doing the right thing by Jamaica.
A government for me, you know. Me can't sit down and rely upon you, you know.
No other government that has repaired and built like this government.
You see that happen? That a go on nowhere?
In your community.
Who can rely upon the government?
22,000 Jamaicans have had the chance to own their own homes.
How much a big man over state and big man like that know you know?
Over 100,000.
So you feel say after you be Prime Minister, you feel done with we and go to some people who never know you before?
You have to level the playing field.
Remember we the people make you be who you is, you know.
The public would see and would know.
I want to tell you, man, you have to deal with it better than that, man.
Why and how?
Give a better benefit.
Action is being taken.
You can't live in our country and not get a benefit, brother.
We were reminded of that.
You just a dig for yourself alone, like say you alone make up this.
Don't talk about it.
Who can rebuild a house with just $500,000? Who can rebuild a resilient house with just $500,000? There is absolutely nothing that speaks to that in this. And members whose constituencies were not affected can say whatever they want to say. When you travel across eastern Westmoreland and the parish of Westmoreland, several homes still have tarpaulin on them. Several homes still have tarpaulin on them. Right?
What the opposition is offering is to go back to levels of bureaucracy.
First of all,
let me finish. Unless you're batting for Senator Tomlinson, let me finish.
No, I'm batting for issues. So
okay,
so
but I'm dealing with issues.
That's a wrong line.
I'm just trying to make the point because I need to go back to him. I also want to make the point very quickly, and this is something both parties do. That point is not just coming from the opposition. All the civil society groups have also made the point that Jamrock is not sufficient. It doesn't have statutory authority.
So let me ask you a question. What was the criticism of
mechanism should be legislated.
What was the criticism of EPA?
Let me go.
Let me ask. No, but you just said something. So I'm asking. You've asserted something, and I'm asking you. Those same groups that took issue with Jamrock. What's their issue with EPA?
You are trying to make a point-by-point comparison. You cannot.
But you have not explained what the difference is.
Billions of dollars that Jamrock is going to be
government had billions of dollars, and EPA monitored them.
Hold on.
You know, it's quite disappointing to see the quality of arguments coming from my senator colleague here. There is a fundamental difference there between what happened with EPOC and what happens with Jamrock.
Please explain.
Jamrock, and Dion, is going to provide some sort of oversight to an entity that has no board. The Jamrock can be dissolved by the minister. There is no recognition of Jamrock in the entire bill. It has no legal underpinning, no statutory authority.
And it has been lauded as one of the most but it has been lauded as one of the most successful.
You're comparing apples and oranges.
I am not comparing apples and oranges.
Which is why I suspect the name Rock was tapped on to Jamrock. So you can say EPOC has done a great job.
No, let's not be trite about it. Let's not be trite. No, it is very trite.
It is not.
Let us not be trite about it.
It is marketing, it is PR, it is politics.
It is a model that served this country well, that brought this country from a severely debt. I'm not going to debate acronyms.
Hold on. No, but that's fine for you. But you cannot divorce what a government is doing from political realities and from optics and politics. And
yes, but Dion, I thought you invited me here.
Why some of us is so happy in here? Because we can get the ears of the CEO and the Prime Minister from Spanish Town. We don't have any drain there. Every drain is blocked. No, he comes from, when the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister never refused from reminding this Parliament that he's from Spanish Town. And therefore, I am saying that some of you knows exactly where to go to get the help when Nara pass. And then some of us don't know where to go. So our people are going to suffer. While you and the team that you want for specific reason will get the privilege. So therefore, this bill can carry political victimization. And this bill, I remembered again when the Prime Minister said here that we are reforming the public sector to get efficient, competent, and reliable personnel to carry out the work in an efficient manner. What are we going to do with these people now? It's a question, so you can answer. But, Madam Speaker, I am certain that not before Melissa, there were some big projects. And I believe some of you are very happy for Melissa. because you'll be able to execute them now, because I don't even believe you had the budget for it. So, making presentation and not having the budget and get Melissa, you're using Melissa as a bypass. But
Jamaica, I want Denny's daily pan the app. No man, only listen to this.
Massive responsibility that is going to be given to the CEO on a day-to-day basis is a recipe for disaster. And Madam Speaker, I stand not because James has come here when he want to go vote for something. Yeah, that's the only time. That's the only time St. Thomas people see you. St. Thomas people see you in Parliament when you come to vote for no matter. Madam Speaker.
Member Daly.
Madam Speaker.
House Leader. Time being no way past the time that Parliament should legally continue without.
I came on here to salute Dennis Daly, and I'm not going to allow this monster Jezebel to detract me from concentrating on her clear biased behavior in a Parliament. Andre Stevens to deal with her properly on PDTV tonight. Listen to me. Dennis Daly just exposed James Robertson. For the people that watch Parliament regular like myself now, only when them vote for bill, you ever see James Robertson go up and make a speech about anything to contribute to the actual development and growth of the country in any way? When have you seen this? I mean, one Dennis Daly, me say she taught the things, and people, may I tell you, if you guys did not watch Dennis Daly's speech in Parliament, you really need to go check it out. Really need to.
For the constitution
was against that.
About to turn saying, but let me tell you something. Nobody ever, Madam Speaker, I was about to wrap up. But let me tell you something. Nobody instruct me unless it is Eastern St. Catherine. And that's why I'm going to continue. So if you want me to think there, I would advise you that we are from Spanish Town. We do not take instruction from anybody unless it is from our constituency. Madam Speaker, I am saying to the Prime Minister, and I'm saying to the members on both sides, do not do anything out of sentiments. Let us look at the bill in its entirety. Fix the bill, because we are not against the bill. We are against what is in the bill. Thank you very much.
She just dropped the...
Are we to believe, are Jamaicans to believe, that the government that closed the corner shops during COVID, while big supermarkets operated freely, will now protect the small local contractor? Are we to believe that the government that arrested ordinary Jamaicans on the streets for breaching curfew, while their very own toasted at uptown parties on no movement days, will now apply the rules equally to all? Are we to believe that the government that spent a decade building highways while the side roads of every constituency develop potholes wide enough and deep enough to swallow a vehicle will now prioritize communities that the highways don't reach? Mr. Speaker, are we expected to believe that the government that allowed money to be extracted from the Ministry of Health through overpriced contracts and well-connected companies, dare I say sweetheart deals, while patients slept on chairs in corridors and died waiting for tests to be done, will suddenly become responsible stewards of public health funds? Are we to believe that the government that fought with all its might not to pay doctors, nurses, teachers, civil servants what they deserve,
while raising their salaries by 200%, will now put the needs of the people above the interests of the powerful.
Jamaica, me say Nikisha Burchell they on fire. Mighty God of Daniel. Hey, TikTok, only listen to this.
Truth. These concerns are not isolated. No. The opposition has raised them. Civil society has raised them. The media has raised them. Even voices within the government benches have raised them, and I'm not talking about my neighbor in West Central St. James. I'm talking about those on the government benches who pull us aside and say, don't stop fighting because we can't say nothing for ourselves.
Jamaica, she's saying is not
the media has raised them. Even voices within the government benches have raised them, and I'm not talking about my neighbor in West Central St. James. I'm talking about those on the government benches who pull us aside and say, don't stop fighting because we can't say nothing for ourselves.
So you're telling me, allegedly, that you have people over the JLP that is against the Naira bill and can't talk, and she's not talking about the MP for West Central St. James? Who are the MP for West Central St. James? Marlin Malawu Fort. Mighty God. West Central St. James MP. Who that? Marlin Malawu Fort. So you're telling me, Nikisha Burchell, that there's other persons that is whispering to you guys to fight on behalf of the people of Jamaica? Because them over there know say I be a criminal them amongst, but they can't talk for themselves. You're telling me that there's some among them that have an ounce of integrity? That's what you're telling me? Well, they need to separate themselves from the evil, separate themselves from the criminal them within the Jamaica Labour Party and make their voices be heard. You understand? Because nobody can carry you guys, you know. Ongo we are true Jesus Christ, you know. So what you think? You're just going to operate with the criminals them and be quiet, and then what? You're going to be saved? You're going to just do crime with the criminals and not say anything when good men stay quiet? Nations are eroded and is destroyed. You know, talk up, be brave like Marlin Malawu Fort and let your voices be heard and stop being a weak jellyback. Now is the time to stand up to Pharaoh. Be on the right side of history. Ball of Yanara telling you. How come like you know hear where Dr. Alfred Dar said? This is going to take down the Jamaica Labour Party. We say God work, you know? God work Jamaica. Just watch and you will see God is working. You remember good.
Jamaicans, I'm wondering how you survive in Jamaica. Because I'm hearing your wages are a lot lower. And I hear the food and the rent, it's not so much lower. So I'm wondering how is it possible that you're surviving in the cities? Maybe in the rural areas where the rent is cheaper and accommodation is cheaper, but in the cities, it's not so cheap. Is this correct? Do you find it moderate living and it's not so expensive? Follow my page, like this post, comment below what your thoughts are, please.
I watched this video and I enjoyed this woman's reasoning. Everyone keeps looking at it from the perspective of the worker. No one is looking at it from the perspective of a business owner, and she has a business mindset. Me as a teacher, let's say I hire 2 helpers. You see, if the minimum wage increase, right now my pay increased by $6,000. At $6,000 I come home with this month. Me not keep up with inflation. Gas gone up, everything gone up, and at $6,000 more me get. Might as well me fire one of them and give one person 2 people pay, and make sure the 2 people work. You get what I say? It would have easier me do that. Or hire or keep one person and then cut somebody hours. It would have easier me do that. May I tell you something here? You see, half a loaf is better than none. Half a loaf. You see, sometimes we greed away box food out our mouth. It may seem a way, but if the person who hires the minimum wage earners are not making enough, they cannot keep so much workers. They are going to have to start letting go people, and it's just the reality. Them have to start redundant people. Them have to just say, yo, look here, I can't pay you, and that is it.
Because guess what? At some point, they will not be able to keep up with the minimum wage increase. Because chances are their income is not increasing. My pay increased by $6,000. So let's say me keep the two people them for 1 week. Me not go able to pay a person because how much weeks in a month? 4 weeks, I'm only get 6, so 2, 4, 6. It done at the same pay me get. At the same pay me get from last month. So therefore we have to think. You see, sometimes we think say increasing it is better. No. Increasing it can mean say you out of one job tomorrow.
What do you think about the minimum wage? You think it's too small?
No, it's okay. Once I work, alright. You see, once I work, you have to save. You see, what you save is what you earn in life. You can work a little bit of money and you still save something out of it. Because me work in OCL and me save and I achieve a lot of stuff out of it. My house, my bed, just like everything. So it's what I work and how you save. How you work is what you save out of it, okay? Yeah. So it don't really matter how much money is a problem. So once you work, you have to save something out of it. If a little bit of money, because every little make a muckle in life.
Yeah, that people who don't need to save. Thank you for your time.
I could remember when I was working at the call center, we were getting meal allowance. The meal allowance was about $600 a day, right? So roughly $6,000 for the fortnight, $12,000 for the month. I moved on to HR and then I was earning like $800 a day for phone allowance, $8,000 for the fortnight, $16,000 for the month. I say this to say that, yes, so the graduate allowance that I'm talking about are $6,000 for the month. Ask any teacher. I know teachers might feel a way so I'll come talk about this, but I genuinely hope that the ministry's time was not wasted to defend $6,000. I'm being very honest. I'm being very honest. I think when you have a master's degree, and granted master's degrees are not cheap because if you go over UE, them a quote you $1.8 million per year for do a master's degree, right? Over UTEC they quoted me $1.1 million. However, over UE they said to me that it's a government subsidized program, so I'm not really paying out for the year, right? And that's because I'm doing mathematics and education, which is a STEM area. Them want it, but I say this to say that you see that $6,000, you have to pay a JTA dues out of it, which is almost half of the $6,000. So really and truly, you're not going with no, because tax near me out back. Now, in my opinion, a master's degree is supposed to move you up at least one jump, at least one on the scale, right? A master's degree supposed to move you. So if you're there, if you're there band 3, you're supposed to move go band 4. That is my opinion with a master's degree. I could have never $6,000, then they go defend. My hope is never $6,000. Because whether the $6,000 they on the pay or not, it not sure. There's no difference in the salary. There's absolutely no difference. So me just genuinely hope say never that, then go waste ministry time for.
Fellow Jamaicans, you all gotta hold on to your pockets right now, okay? Because this what happened is $4 million USD dollars. $4 million USD dollars for cross for the ship them go through the Panama Canal. So you all know what's going on the Strait of Hormuz right now, and the choke hole where Iran have America under Jesus.
So it looks like Jamaicans are running back to the US dollar. I'm Kalila from Money Media giving you money news for the Caribbean. It wasn't that long ago when any little extra money you get, you drop it in a USD savings account. That's because the Jamaican dollar was so unstable that people felt they had to save in USD to counter the effects of devaluation. Around 2017 though, the Bank of Jamaica implemented the B-Fix-It system, which helped to stabilize the local currency and ensure that it fluctuated both ways. Some days the dollar was high, some days it was low. This made saving in USD less attractive because you could actually lose money on the conversion. But fast forward to 2025 and here we go again. According to the Bank of Jamaica, Jamaicans moved roughly 95 billion JMD into USD accounts in 2025. That's 13% more than the year before. It works out to nearly 4 out of every $10 in the banking system being saved in US dollar accounts. The BOJ attributed this to several things, but the main reason was Hurricane Melissa. People and businesses apparently got nervous about the economic outlook. So instead of keeping their money in Jamaican dollars, they shifted into US dollars, which is viewed as more stable. One consequence of this is that it puts pressure on the Jamaican dollar. The more demand there is for US dollars, the more strain that puts on the exchange rate. That's part of the reason the central bank had to step in and sell over $1 billion US last year to stabilize the market. On top of that, it can affect borrowing and investment. If businesses are holding US dollars instead of investing locally, that can slow down economic activity and growth. But the BOJ isn't sounding any alarms just yet. They think this trend is temporary, especially as rebuilding picks up after the hurricane and the economy improves. But we also have to watch what's happening with Iran and those oil prices, because that may also put pressure on the supply of USD and therefore affect the value of the JMD. And that's the bottom line. So what do you think? Are you switching to USD savings or watching and seeing what happens? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn how to invest during times of economic uncertainty, go to moneymissionja.com for more information. The link is in my bio or in the description. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.
If you are living in Jamaica and you don't have at least 5K in your account, then you should not consider scrolling past this video. This is why. We all can see that the prices of things keep going up and the dollar value keeps going down. So supply is not meeting demand and this is causing inflation. If you went to the supermarket 3 years ago and you compare it to today, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because what you could get with your 20K supermarket budget, you can no longer get that anymore because of inflation. So what you need to be doing is earning in a stronger currency so that you can beat inflation. And I can show you exactly how you can do this and build your savings account. So if you are interested to learn more, comment interested or send me a DM on Instagram.
Imagine working for a large hotel franchise in Jamaica that receives $4.38 billion US annually. And that hotel franchise is going to look at you as the staffer, the employee, the backbone to that hotel, and only pay you anywhere from $2 to $4 US per hour. It's fucked up, right? But that is actually happening. And I know there have been many conversations about the inadequate pay that the Jamaican hotel employees are receiving. But it's about time for these Jamaican politicians to stop. Jamaica need to stop. $2 US in America cannot even buy a beef patty. You think so them a pay nobody up as a $2 to $4 US? Them not do it. But them a disrespect the Jamaican them. And it's not that they're disrespecting the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans are allowing the disrespect. The politicians are allowing the disrespect. And I would be one to say, go past strike. But at the end of the day, the people them need to make their money. They need to take care of them family. It's not much, but every mickle make a muckle. $2 US in Jamaica, that is 312 Jamaican dollars. Times 312 by 40. That is 12,500 Jamaican dollars. That is not a living wage. That is not a sustainable income for one person, much as a family. Me and my talk say the birth rate in Jamaica is declining because of social media. Fuckery. That is fuckery. It is declining because people now make no money. They are not making any money to take care of themselves, much less a family. Corruption has been running rampant in Jamaica from 1901. It is nothing new. But at what cost? When is the Jamaican government, the politicians that are in charge, that are allowing these things to happen? Because Best believe somebody is getting some money on the side to allow this to happen. When is Jamaica going to stop? When are the politicians going to put the people first and say enough is enough? When? But my message to you people who like to go to the resorts, whether in Bahamas or Jamaica or wherever, and disrespect the hotel employees, keep in mind that these people show up to work every day, underpaid, and they give you the best service that they can provide with making as little money as they do. But all in all, Jamaica need to stop. Jamaica need to stop.
How much per day you spend on gas?
I buy cheap every day, no me I buy 5,000. A day, come on, me buy 20,000 a week.
Beautiful, beautiful and amazing Jamaican people. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I just don't know how to express the appreciation and the love that I do have for you. Guys, in today's video, I want us to discuss about the dollar pressure that has hit the Jamaicans so hard. They have come out to speak not only in the streets, not only in the markets, but also in the Parliament of Jamaica. And we don't know who is really telling the truth. But probably after watching the clips, kindly ensure that you comment down below so that we can be able to really know what you think about the entire video. So of course something is not adding up in this particular issue, because these numbers that we have now, they quite well look like stable. They're kind of stable, but honestly guys, Jamaicans are feeling extremely squeezed. I don't know, is it true guys? For me, I do believe, following the videos that I've been doing each and every day, like it's really hard for me to talk about the entire topic without mentioning the economy that has hit the every Jamaican sector. So the Jamaican dollar looks very stable on paper, honestly, but in real life, oh my God, it's damn expensive, man. Things are so high. And the question that we have in our minds, for most of us actually, is very simple, and that is, who is telling the truth? Who is this that is telling the truth? Because we no longer know who to believe and who not to believe. Should we believe the government? Should we believe the Bank of Jamaica, or should we believe the people on the ground? What do you think, guys? Anyway, what the analysis and the data that we have outside here says is that the Bank of Jamaica are telling the people, are telling the Jamaicans that things are under control. Don't worry, guys. We are okay. We are stable. The currency is very stable. Anyway, guys, another thing that they tell the Jamaican people is that inflation is low, and that there is around 3% to 5%, that is reported there. So, of course, they are trying to put out what is within their range, their target, They're coming out and telling us that the prices are stabilizing, expectations are very stable, the economy is stable. And if you look at the dollar, the Jamaican dollar, according to what we have even watched the clips here, it's like it is collapsing. In fact, it has been strengthening, like slightly. So around 156 Jamaican dollars, or rather, I wanted to put like this: 1 USD is equal to 156 Jamaican dollars. And of course, that looks like it has been appreciating, like just a little bit. Of course, it sounds good and we are happy. But again, I don't know if you think that it's a controlled inflation. I don't know I don't know what to think about all this stability thing from the Jamaican bank or from the Bank of Jamaica. So as much as they're talking so good about inflation, economy, currency stability and everything, the Jamaicans who are on the ground, they are speaking different language. If you go to the market, if you go to the streets, if you talk to the taxi drivers, in which even our last video, we did a video about taxi drivers. If you talk to the farmers, if you talk to the young people, they are speaking differently, a very different language, away from stability, away from low inflation. I mean, it's something very different, and that is that items are very expensive in the island. The money is not circulating, it's not reaching everybody. Food prices are extremely high that they cannot even afford. Oh my God. So we don't really know what to believe and what not to believe. Oh. So if we want to really understand this issue, the real thing that we should be talking about currently in our video today is the issue to do with imported items, because this is where many people fail to touch and talk about it. At the end of the day, Jamaica depends on imported goods, from food, from fuel, from goods, and the basic things that they could even make themselves, like toothpicks, tissue papers. So even if inflation is low, imported inflation can actually hurt. It will still hurt the people of Jamaica, of the island. Of course, global prices matters and exchange rate matters at the end of the day, and the shipping costs, of course, they do matter. And even these small changes, they do matter a lot, especially in the economy. So at the end of the day, people will feel this pressure. Even if the official data from the Bank of Jamaica looks stable, people will feel the pressure. And one thing that we need to discuss and talk about in our video is the global impact on our economy and that of Jamaica. So if you look at Jamaican dollar, it does not exist in isolation, of course. It is closely tied to American dollar and generally the global economy at the end of the day. So if the US economy becomes unstable like a little bit, then Jamaica will feel it at the end of the day. And at the moment, we are seeing a high global uncertainty. We are seeing trade tensions everywhere, conflicts, Iran, US, Israel. We are seeing interest rates going up and up and up. And that will create a lot of pressure. And it's the people of Jamaica, of the beautiful island, who are going to feel it. So guys, even if the Bank of Jamaica is selling a good story, it is still admitting the fact that there exists some risks here and there, and there are challenges, of course, meaning that at the end of the day, prices could actually rise. Anyway, at the end of the day, stability, if there is stability today, it doesn't guarantee the stability of tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. I hope you get it. So for those who are supporting the side of the economy stable, for them, they'll be like, that data never lies. inflation can be controlled, the dollar is stable, things are really, really doing well, tourism is recovering, remittances are flowing well, people from outside the world, from outside Jamaica are sending money. So you should not panic, just stay calm. And of course, we have those people that are struggling in the ground. And for them, they are saying that, you know what, guys, these statistics things that you are talking about, when it comes to 7 o'clock, we want to eat, it doesn't buy us any food. So people will feel this pressure each and every day. The cost of food will still be high. The wages, they stay stagnant. Life becomes harder and harder. And of course, they'll be like, as economists, stability is not the same as stability in terms of the citizens, I hope you understand, guys. Like stability in economics is not the same as stability in the people, within the people, or for the citizens. I hope I captured that statement well. Stability in the economics is not the same as stability when it comes to the citizens, or stability for the citizens. So the truth here is that, of course, all these things are really interesting, because you don't even know what to do and not what to do, what to believe and not to believe. At the end of the day, these people that do argue about the stability thing, they are actually correct, right? Because you see, we are talking about macroeconomics, we are talking about currency, over here. But as much as we are discussing, guys, it does not improve our living standards. We will still remain there, right? So if the dollar remains stable, it does not mean that things are going to be cheaper in the grocery that I normally go to, and that's where the difference comes in. But why do you think that people still feel poorer and poorer and poorer, especially in our beautiful island? In the past, prices have gone up, and then they started rising slowly again, and slowly again and again, until it becomes like too much. And now they're still very high. So people feel kind of stagnant at some point. And then again, if you look at the wages, they're always stagnant. They don't go up even if inflation goes high. The cost of living remains high. Expectations, of course, they do change. Stability, at the end of the day, you will feel like it's a struggle, man, to survive. So the debate here that we should be talking about is perception. Because people do judge the economy of their country, or in this case, Jamaicans will actually judge their economy based on personal experiences, by the way. They're not going to judge it based on this data that the Bank of Jamaica is talking about. They're not going to judge the economy based on statistics. If food is expensive, that is real. It's expensive. If the economy is bad, the rent, talk about everything. So at the end of the day, this perception becomes a reality, right? And the politicians are talking. But these politicians, they always have money 24/7. But the local citizens, oh man, it's a sorry state in these developing countries or islands. Because once people feel the pressure, they will start asking questions. Like, who is responsible for our suffering in this economy? Of all these people that are talking about the economy and the dollar pressure, who is telling the truth? Who is hiding the truth? And of course, people will talk everywhere, you know, and a lot of things could happen. The Jamaican dollar is expected to remain kind of stable, just there, but we don't know. Let's wait and see what we will have in the outlets, in the media outlets. But of course, the pressure is still there. The pressure is still there. Because, you know, if you import anything, it's just like that. If the tourism could grow slowly, if things move quickly, I mean, it's just chaotic. So now, who do you think is telling the truth, by the way? Kindly comment down below and let us know, like, who do you think is telling the truth? Is it the government? Is it the people? Is it the politicians, you know? But at the end of the day, and we're not talking about numbers because it's not going to help us. We should be focusing on trust. We should be focusing on leadership, institutions, because of course the Bank of Jamaica, if it's the one that has been given the responsibility to control the inflation, or is it the Minister of Treasury, then, or the central bank, you know, it needs to be held accountable. Because, you know, if the citizens of Jamaica stops trusting them, then it's a real struggle. That will be a real struggle. Getting their trust back is really, really hard. You know, if you break a trust once, then that is it. Thank you so much, guys. If you watched the clip up to this point, I do appreciate your presence. I love you to the moon and back. I love you so much for your support, by the way.